cigars, e-cigarettes, all of the above. My name is Captain Monica, and it is a brown barrel tile roof. Now, his name is Jim Dinkin, okay? And Mr. Dinkin had one grand idea. That would be the founder of Honey Baked Ham. Okay? That is the only business this guy ever started. You are looking at a $16 million waterfront house off a sliced ham. Now, as we make our way forward, the first thing you'll see is right up in front of us, the beautiful downtown skyline. It's a little hazy, not the best view today of the water. Now, we have this path to the right, and that's going to take us downtown. But there's also a path to the left. Now, if we went left in 2 hours, we'd be in Bayside Marketplace, Miami. Okay? Go south for another 4 hours, we would be in Key West. Go south from there for another hour, we would be in Cuba, absolutely. And 2 minutes after we land in Cuba, we'd be in jail. Yes, we would. Now look up on the rocks and you'll see a little crocodile. Anybody see him? Okay. Don't get too excited because he's not real. He's made out of concrete, okay? But that'll give you a hint at the original owner. That's the guy that put crocodiles on polo shirts. Lacoste, yeah, absolutely. So that house was built for Rene Lacoste. He passed away many years ago. Now, however, right before he died, he put that crocodile in the deed to the property. No matter who buys it, no matter who sells it, that tribute to him is never going anywhere. Now, we're going to switch back to the left-hand side once again. He's got 2 boats that are lifted up out of the water. American flag, Michigan flag. Now, I'm not going to talk about the owner of this house very loudly, okay? And the reason for that, I don't want him to hear me. That man on the left likes to call himself the United States richest drug dealer. Okay? I went by there this morning, I needed a couple things. Okay? Yeah, that would be a man by the name of Charles Walgreen on your left-hand side. Let's go back to your right-hand side. Forgive me, there's gonna be a stretch of houses on the right-hand side here. Up in front of us, I got this pale yellow house with the 2 yachts in the backyard. Now keep in mind, this yellow house and the next 2 on your right-hand side were purchased by a man named Wayne Huizenga and given to his family. Okay, bear with me here. This yellow one he got for his lovely daughter, Pamela. The white one, that was for his sister, Bonnie. And the next one way up there, that was for his nephew, Steve Hudson. Now I know what you might be thinking at this point. Who is that guy and how do I marry into his family? Okay? How did he make all that money? The man founded 3 Fortune 500 companies from the ground up. Doesn't matter where you're from, you have heard of his businesses. The first one was Waste Management. Pretty big deal, right? Number 2 was AutoNation, and number 3, Blockbuster Video. Okay? Now, here's the thing with Blockbuster. There's no secret. We all saw it crash and burn, right? Wayne was an excellent businessman. He sold Blockbuster for $8.4 billion. All right?
Beautiful.
And just by chance, about a year later, Netflix came out. Okay? And that was the death of Blockbuster. Now, you're going to hear his name a few more times, but let's pause on him. Take a look on the right. I need to shout out my favorite person of this trip. That man is living life right because that is a double wide trailer on a $10 million property. Okay? Now, last one here on the right-hand side. I like to call that Spirit Airlines' newest terminal. Okay? I'm not in love with this house now. The company that built it is called Strange Architecture, and they say that cutout in the first floor. Think about storms, okay? High wind or high water, it flows through the cutout, and it's strong enough to not knock the house over, supposedly, all right? The builder claims that that is a Category 5 hurricane-rated house. Now, I am born and raised in Fort Lauderdale. Let me tell you how I feel about that. We're going to pass 3 more Category 5 homes tonight, and I would point them out, but they fell down in the last hurricane. Now, this one is for sale. Anybody looking? Okay, well, hear me out. 8 bedrooms, 12 bathrooms, 11,000 square feet inside. All right? Now, the realtor, she's been struggling to sell this one. She just put out an ad in the paper that says that you can move in for $3.2 million. Cheap, not that bad, right? Okay. So she was doing an open house. I showed up. I don't know why. And I was like, 3.2, really? She said, honey, no, that's the 10% down payment. Okay. 32 is a little more like it. Now, however, you would have been neighbors to Wayne Huizenga himself. On the left-hand side, we're going to be passing this for about 3 minutes. This is all one property, okay? Yes. On paper, this is actually 7 single-family homes on the same lot here. Now, I told you he owned 3 Fortune 500 companies, all right? Now, take a look at that statue of the Dolphins. He was also the former owner of the Miami Dolphins, okay? For many, many years. Get this, he was also the founding owner of the Florida Marlins baseball team and the Florida Panthers hockey team, okay? All 3 of those. Now, unfortunately, Mr. Huizenga himself, I'm using past tense, he passed away about 6 years ago now. We were really sad to see him go. Now, all I've told you is how rich this guy was, right? He was an amazing man as well. Right before he died, he added to his will that when his family sells this house, they weren't allowed to keep a penny of the money. Which is strange for a man that was so generous to his family. Instead of that, he had a list of 10 South Florida charities. This house went up for auction for $14.6 million, every penny donated to charity. Wow. So yeah, really, really fantastic guy. Now, yeah, absolutely. Now, the current owner, his name is Chuck West, founder and owner of Pet Supermarket, if you ever shop there. Now, next up, just in case you were tired of Wayne Huizenga, there's one more. Coming up on the left, we call this one the Harry Potter house. Yeah, you can tell, right? This whole design was intentional. Mr. Huizenga took a trip to Universal Studios. He was walking around Harry Potter World, and he liked it so much, he hired the architects to come and build him a house. All right? Now, this is where it gets funny. Later in life, Wayne admitted he had never seen Harry Potter. Okay, so I do all that. You might see where I'm going. He actually gave that house to his favorite niece, Holly, as a $22 million wedding present. Y'all want to know what I got when I got married? I got a crock pot and a mother-in-law. Crock pot still works. Now, continuing on your left-hand side, I have this mint-colored house with a pontoon boat out back. Now, has anyone seen the movie Cape Fear? Robert De Niro, Nick Nolte, okay, then you'll recognize that house because they filmed most of that movie in South Florida. Now, they ripped out the palm trees and they put in pine trees to make it look like Cape Fear, North Carolina. Now, that feels like a waste of time, even more so a waste of money. They had to do that because of Nick Nolte. Let me tell you why. He was a resident of Fort Lauderdale at the time, and he was wearing an ankle bracelet from the Broward County Sheriff's Office. That's not a joke, you can look that one up. His 2 favorite things were drinking and driving. All right? Now, over here on the right-hand side, this White House, I call it the showstopper. I don't even have to point it out, and you guys are going to look at it anyway. Now, take photos. Take as many photos as you would like because no one lives there. All right? That was an Airbnb, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, last time I checked, $27,000 a week. Now, next up is also on your right-hand side, got the American flag out on the dock here. No one famous, no movies, nothing like that, but that family claims to have the biggest waterfront kitchen on our tour route, 1,800 square feet. Why not? I have no idea. Now, at this point in the tour, I'd like to bring it back down to earth for a second, talk about some of our wildlife. I'm sure that most of you are on vacation here in Fort Lauderdale, right? How many of you have seen iguanas? Everyone, right? You can't walk 2 feet without seeing one. Those are very, very invasive to us down here. They are not native whatsoever, but they're fun to look at. I'll try to point some out. Now, how about manatees? Any lucky people see them? Okay, a few of you. Now, this is really late in the season for us to be seeing manatees, and I don't know what's going on. I worked all day today, and I've seen 4 already today. All right, so keep your eyes peeled. We might get lucky and spot some. Now, next up, I got a pretty cool piece of history coming up in front of us on your right-hand side. This old school house that's tucked back into the trees here. Now, that used to be the John Robert Powers School of Modeling, all right? This place was absolutely huge in the 70s. Christy Brinkley, Cheryl Teagues both went there for a few years. Now, I'm talking so many girls were going here, but this white apartment building you see, they built that as dorm rooms for the modeling school, okay? That's how many girls were going there. Now, we have a couple of captains, one in particular, that's been here since the 70s. Now, as we are creeping farther up the New River, now that's the body of water we're on, by the way. This is the New River. A lot of people assume the intercoastal downtown Fort Lauderdale is cut in half by the New River. Now, houses for just a moment, getting into our restaurants, hotels, condos, all that good stuff. Now, first up, I want to preface this by saying we got you covered on dinner for tonight, but people are always asking me for local recommendations. The first of our restaurants on the river is coming up on the right-hand side. This is called the Boathouse. They got the pool next door, waterfront dining. You can't really go wrong. Highly recommend checking them out. Now, the Boathouse is a part of the Riverside Hotel. That would be the oldest hotel in Fort Lauderdale, built in 1936. Now, coming up in just a moment, another cool piece of history. So this was here before everything else was. That is the Stranahan House, built in 1901. That makes it the oldest surviving building in Fort Lauderdale. Built as a Seminole Indian trading post, nowadays it's a museum. Here on the left-hand side, I'd like to point out this White Boat Museum. Now, bear with me. We've passed a lot of beautiful yachts today. I haven't talked about any of them. Why am I pointing out the ugliest one? Okay, Musette. She's affordable. That thing holds 400 people, and they do birthdays, graduations, weddings, and lately, a lot of divorce parties. Okay. Now, I know the owner personally. She's one of my good friends, and she's running a special. I told her I'd promote it for her on Musette within 12 months. If you have a wedding party, as well as a divorce party, it's a buy one, get one free. Okay? So, it's not going to last. Get yourself a free party out of it. Now, folks, up in front of us is our first drawbridge. So here on the Jungle Queen, we know each and every one of our bridge tenders. Now if you look on the left, that would be our biggest hotel. Now last night, so many people stayed there. 1,400 people stayed there free of charge. Okay, now if you check in before 5 p.m., they're going to give you a hot meal free of charge. I know this because I've had to spend 3 nights there myself. That is the Broward County Jail. You're laughing at that? That wasn't a joke. Let's keep it on moving past Andrews Avenue. Now, you're probably thinking to yourself, what's the deal? How could they possibly both be Mr. Johnson? Now, since the Jungle Queen's been running since 1935, bridge tendons? Now, over here on the left-hand side, another fun restaurant is Pirate Republic. Next up is also on the left-hand side. Now, talking about this feels a little strange, but there's a cool story behind it. Take a look at this tree on the left. It's all strapped up, chained up, right? So someone came in here not very long ago. He purchased this empty plot of land, and he wanted to build a condo, okay? Just like everyone else is doing down here. However, that tree was in the middle of the property. So he said, okay, started getting ready to cut it down, and the city stopped him dead in his tracks. They said, no way, absolutely not. Turns out that's an Amazon rain tree. First and foremost, those are protected in the state of Florida. Number two, after a bit of research, turns out that's the second oldest rain tree in North America. Okay? So they said, no way, you can't cut it down, but we'll allow you to move it. All right? So he did some research. He hired out a company called treemovers.com. Okay? They came out here, moved that tree 55 feet to where it stands today, and charged him $1.3 million. All right? Now, this guy better have pretty good luck, because there's a caveat to that as well. From the day they moved it, he has a 5-year waiting period to hope and pray that tree survives where they moved it to. If it doesn't, he can expect to pay the Department of Agriculture another $3 million. As we are moving forward here, we have our third drawbridge of the night. Up in front of us is Southwest 7th Avenue Bridge. Now that's the real name of this bridge. I like to call it the Confused Bridge. It's going through a bit of an identity crisis, all right? On the left-hand side, it's 7th Avenue, and on the right-hand side, it's 4th Avenue. No one knows what happened to 5th and 6th in the middle. Now, before we say hello to our bridge tenders, please, on the right-hand side, give a big wave to our friends on the sailboat. They are out here every single night to say hello to you. We adore them here on the Jungle Queen. Now, next up, we gotta say hello to our bridge tender, and I can't tell if you've caught on by now, but what's his name? Mr. Johnson, absolutely. He is once again on your right-hand side, loud and proud, in 3, 2, 1. Hello, Mr. Johnson! I can't see, is he waving? Is he waving? Yeah! There we go. Now, you seem to have caught on by now, all right? Mr. Johnson here at 7th Avenue, he's the cousin of the brothers back there at the last 2 bridges, okay? Busy family business, y'all. I'm not making this up. Now, let's let's take a look over on your right-hand side. If you notice, the boats are starting to get a little bit smaller, a little bit more homey, dare I say. This is Cooley's Landing Marina. This is our liveaboard section. Every single one of these folks, they're living on their boats full time. Now, hear me out here. Now, next up, I did say that he was an author, okay? And all of his books were about the Bermuda Triangle. Does anyone believe in the Bermuda Triangle? Okay? The nickname of this property is Little Florida. Okay, now you kind of get it. It's shaped almost perfectly like the state of Florida. Now, really, really cool. This is actually the natural formation of the river. The homeowners didn't do this. The original people didn't do this. This was just the natural cutout. Now, over here on the right-hand side, we are still passing Little Florida. Like, how unique of a property is this truly? Now, I'm not gonna lie, you see there's this new house that's under construction. They tore down the original, I wanna say about 3-4 months ago, and that really, really bummed me out because the original house was built in 1934, which is ridiculously old for South Florida standards. Now, a little fun fact about the original home there, built in 1934 all the way up until the early 70s. If you wanted to write these people a letter, you just had to take an envelope, write Little Florida, and the postman knew exactly where to bring it. That's how well known this property was. Now, I gave you just a hint on how this is a naturally formed body of water. I told you earlier formed. Oh, give a wave to our friends over there. Oh, he wants the whistle. No. Naturally formed body of water. So back in the day, when the Seminole Indians were the only people living down here, they woke up one morning, they tried to get to their hunting grounds, and they couldn't because there was this massive river separating them from it, all right? This happened overnight. There was an earthquake, which is pretty rare for South Florida. It broke the aquifer that lays underneath the state and created every inch of what we've been traveling on so far. So really, really cool history about the New River in general. Now, I want to go back over to the right, and my first question I'd like to ask is how many yachts can you possibly fit behind one house? I don't know, ask this guy on your right-hand side. This is unbelievable. Now, that white house there, beautiful, white, modern style home, is arguably one of the most historic properties we have passed so far. You take a look at the house, and it's brand new, okay? There's no beating that. However, this homeowner was always told that this was historic land, and he didn't believe them, and finally 10 years into owning the property, he did a little bit of his own research. He looked back into some very old property records, and he found the name Al Capone. Pretty cool, right? So apparently Al Capone had himself a little house back on that land, and people look at me silly when I say things like this, because if you take a tour boat in Miami, they're going to show you Al Capone's house. And if you take a tour boat up in West Palm Beach, they're going to show you Al Capone's house. The truth of the matter, the man had 14 properties in the state of Florida alone. Once again, this entire group of apartment complexes we're passing, this is the River Reach community. Now, on paper, they advertise this as a private island. And that is technically true, okay? It's surrounded on all 4 sides by water. You can get here by boat or by their one gated bridge, all right? Making this a very, very private community. And it's also one of the most affordable places we have passed so far. Now, affordable, that's a hard word to say lately here in South Florida, but it's one of the less expensive places we've passed. Now, I totally forgot to say this at the very beginning of the tour. Those people waving just reminded me, okay? If you see anyone at their houses, on their balconies, all of the above, and they are waving at you, please wave back hard, and do not stop waving until they stop, because 90% of these folks are retired, and that wave's the only exercise they get, okay? So let's give a friendly workout to our locals. Now, up in front of us, my friends, we have another drawbridge. This is our 4th and final drawbridge of the night. So what that means to me is this has to be our best hello of the night. This is Davie Boulevard. Now, I gotta ask my friends, who are we saying hello to tonight? And no to all of that. His name is Irving Schwartz. Irving Schwartz, okay? I know it's confusing, but he gets really upset when you mess it up, so try not to. His name is Irving Schwartz, all right? Now this time, he's gonna be on the left-hand side. Irving Schwartz, are you guys ready? In 3, 2, 1, hello! Oh, well done. You guys are paying attention. Is he waving? I can't see. Oh, he's waving? Okay, wonderful. Well done, guys. Now, you were looking at me a little crazy. I know you thought it was going to be Mr. Johnson again, but here's the deal, okay? It still is a family business. Irving Schwartz, he married one of the Johnson daughters, okay? Family business? Family business. Now, we're going to keep it pushing on the right-hand side here. Not much to say about this house, but you'll notice that they have those one-way windows, right? Now, we can't see them, but they can definitely see us. That is now, okay? When they first installed those one-way windows, they put them in backwards, okay? And, yeah, they were waving at us, we were waving at them, and they had no idea we could see straight through those windows, all right? Now, got another one on the right-hand side. Not much to say about this either, but it reminds me of something straight out of Venice. Absolutely gorgeous. He has his boat lift directly next to his master bedroom. This man can take 2 steps and be out on the boat in the morning. Now, next up, before I point out this next house, very important question, is anyone on here from New Jersey? No one? Good, who cares? Now, but either way, on the right-hand side, you see that barber pole and the barber chair? That is the son of a barber from Pitman, New Jersey, okay? Now, if you're looking at that barber chair thinking, what could he possibly do with that in his backyard? It is exactly what it looks like, all right? You pull up by boat, you sit in that barber chair, and that man is gonna give you a haircut. The best part about that haircut, he accepts no cash payment for that haircut. Or a card payment. That's because he's not licensed in the state of Florida. That's a totally different story. But here's the deal. He wants one thing in return for his haircut, and that is a bottle of rum. Okay? Now imagine this and do the math in your head. Don't bother seeing him anytime after 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay? Now, we are making it farther and farther up the New River Waterway. This is where I want to kind of take a breath. I want to bring it back down to earth. We've been talking about a lot of multi-millionaires and billionaires, so let's reel it back in. If you take a look on your left-hand side, you'll notice that the houses, they look like they're starting to get a little more realistic. You're not seeing these Miami McMansions anymore. Now, here's the deal. For the next 3 minutes, please take everything I say with a grain of salt. So this neighborhood on the left-hand side, it's called Citrus Isles. And if you take a look down some of these canals, you'll see how far back they go. Every house in the Citrus Isles neighborhood is a waterfront property, all right? You can charge extravagant amounts of money to allow people to keep their yachts in your backyard. Like, take a look at this guy on the left. The White House, he has 3 boats in his backyard. I would be blown away if they're paying any less than $3,000 a month to keep that yacht right there. I'm not making it up. You can look up dock space for yourself. Now, I want to go back to the right-hand side really quickly. Big American flag flying strong in the backyard. I have said this 2 times already. This is going to be the 3rd. I mean it now. That is my favorite house of the night. All right? I promise I mean it this time. This home was built by a guy named Bob Elmore. Anyone ever heard of Bob Elmore? No, I know you haven't. It's not important to the story, okay? So Bob Elmore spent 4.5 years building that house in secret from his wife. Okay, stick with me. So after all that time, he finally built the house. It was their 25th wedding anniversary. He took her out to the fanciest restaurant in town, and then they pulled up in the driveway. And she said, "What's going on, honey? Who lives here?" He said, "You do. Happy anniversary." Aw. Yeah, and then he backed away and left her there. And that's how it stands today. I'm sure he thought that was going to end different. Now, as we are pulling up here, folks, if you are not from around here, these next 5 minutes are going to absolutely blow your mind, okay? Fort Lauderdale is considered the yachting capital of the world. That is not just something fun that we like to say about ourselves. Fort Lauderdale, as a city, has more yachts per capita than anywhere else in the entire world, okay? And you're gonna get a glimpse of that for the next 5 minutes here. So we're passing a marina that is known as Lauderdale Marine Center. Now, I was talking about why that dock rent back there is so expensive, because you are so close to the largest yacht repair center in the United States, okay? You are looking at it right now. For the next 5 minutes, we're going to be passing billions of dollars worth of yachts. As we are coming through Lauderdale Marine Center, you're passing easily 100, 120 yachts. I want you to look at the back of all these yachts, if you can see it, and see how many American flags you see flying. You're not gonna see many. We got the Cayman Islands on the left. All 3 of these on the left are Cayman Islands. You're gonna see a lot of Jamaica, all of the above. Now, why is that? Why is there no American flags out here? All these rich people are from the Cayman Islands? No, absolutely not. So, if you ever win the lottery and you wanna buy a yacht, first of all, don't buy a yacht, but here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna hop on that yacht and you're gonna ask the captain to drive you 5 miles offshore. That's all it takes. You're in international waters. From there, you can purchase your yacht, sign the paperwork, and write any country that your heart desires, and you're going to pay their taxes on your yacht. Okay, now here is the biggest yacht of the night. Here on the left-hand side, we have motor yacht Liberty. She is absolutely gorgeous. Now, Liberty is 181 feet. The last time it sold, as far as I'm aware, it went for $38 million. Okay. Take a look at that restaurant that we're passing there on the left-hand side. I have a big question for my friends tonight. Do I have any fans of the show Below Deck? I'm sure I do. Anybody watch that show? Do you want to have the largest chance of meeting cast and crew members? Hint, hint, wink, wink. Go eat at that restaurant, okay? The name of it is called Yacht. It's spelled Y-O-T. Yes, the cast of Below Deck are real people, and they're on real yachts that come into Lauderdale Marine Center. Once again, the name of the restaurant is Y-O-T. Now, next up, we are slowly approaching our island, but as we're passing all these yachts, I do have to let you know that there are some celebrity yachts directly to your left-hand side. Now, due to some very strongly worded letters that the Jungle Queen received from these people's lawyers, I'm not allowed to point out which ones they are. But as far as I'm concerned, I can still talk about them, all right? So, again, can't tell you which one it is, but I can tell you that it's directly to your left-hand side, all right? The first yacht is really simple. It's named 50. Who owns that? 50 Cent. 50. Now the next one, a little bit harder. The name of the yacht is Catch 23. Big sports. Yep, I heard you, Michael Jordan. Absolutely. Keeps his yacht over here very frequently as well. Now the next one, we're getting a little bit harder. The name of the yacht is Her Honor. I heard it up in, yes, Judge Judy, absolutely. Judge Judy, believe it or not, has the biggest of all the ones that I'm going to mention so far. Now the very last one, it's named Privacy. Privacy. I'm not going to say that out loud. Now, here's a hint. People don't normally get it without a hint. He's a pro golfer. Tiger Woods. Who said that? Who said that? You, ma'am, you guys are wrong, unfortunately, okay? That would be Tiger Woods' ex-wife's yacht now. I have some good news for my friends tonight. You don't have to put up with my bad jokes for too much longer. We're going to peek around this corner, make a right-hand turn, and we will be arriving at our tropical island, okay? Now, I do have some announcements to make about the island. I'm sure you guys are tired of hearing me talk, but I do have to get through this. Okay, wonderful. The first thing we're going to do when we arrive is eat. Ladies and gentlemen, please head directly into that dining area. There's a lot to look at. There's a lot to walk around. I know, but just go straight into that dining area. We do not serve food all night. So get your fix of chicken, get your fix of ribs. After that, take a little walk around our property. We got some birds, we got some tortoises, all kinds of cool animals to check out. But please respect our animals. Don't feed them your pina coladas. Don't feed them your children's fingers. You know, things that are common sense, all right? For my smokers, smoke them if you got them, but stay in our two smoking section. One is the back of the show area. The second is the history wall. Ask any crew member. We will be able to point you in the right direction. Now for my drinkers, find this hard to believe you haven't had enough yet, but there is a full bar on the island as well. Now in the show area, you can also help yourself. We got some soft serve ice cream for sale and some other ice creams. We got a little cart in the show area. Now speaking of that show, it starts at 8 o'clock every single night. New show. We're gonna take you on a trip through Polynesia. They're gonna teach you a dance. They're gonna show you some dances. And at the end, it finishes off with some fire dancing, okay? I promise you folks, you do not want to miss it. Now, my very last announcement, I can see the island up in front of us. He's gonna blow the conch shell for you. We are so close. My last announcement, I know you're hungry, I know you're excited, but hang tight, remain in your seats. That's for your safety and mine. I gotta help Captain Heather get this thing on the dock right up here, so just hang tight. We're all gonna get off and you're all gonna get your chicken and ribs. Now folks, I have had so much fun with you tonight. Once again, my name was Captain Monica. Enjoy dinner, enjoy the show. I will see you folks later tonight. Thank you so much.